What's up, guys? My name's Dante, and thank you very much for watching another video. I've been talking with someone who's been watching my videos lately, and one thing that they notice is that the principles I'm sharing are really good to improve positivity, energy, happiness in their life, but when they come to me, they ask for specific advice about what's going on in their life right now. And it's one thing that can be hard to do, but today I'm going to teach you how to be able to identify exactly what it is that we should be working on in our life right now. You see, before I've been talking about principles that can be applied at any time in one's life and should be applied at any time in order to improve some spots in our lives, but the truth is that there is something that we're always being asked to improve in our life. There is something that we are supposed to grow on. The question is, how do we know what that thing is? What I've learned is that the problems, or what I used to call problems in my life, these things that would appear and bring negative emotions with them, it was actually a signal. These things were signals asking me and telling me what I need to grow. What I would do is I would ignore these. I would look at them as bad things because I would call them problems and try to avoid them. The truth is that when we avoid these problems that come up in our life, they always come back. They always resurface, and when they do, it's much more apparent. It becomes harder and harder to ignore, and the more we try to ignore it, the bigger impact it has on our lives. The point is to notice when these things come up and to recognize that this is my next step. This is what I'm supposed to learn from. It takes a problem that we're having in our life and turns it into a positive, growing. It turns it into something that we know we're supposed to grow from. Life becomes much more easy when we're not asking ourselves, what am I supposed to do next? What am I supposed to do next? Because the truth is that there is always something presenting itself in our lives that we are being asked to learn from, asked to grow from. What happens after doing this for any period of time is that we realize our experiences can help other people. When I'm dealing with something in my life, it turns out that there are a lot of people in my life who have dealt with or are dealing with the same thing. The choice I have is to ignore it, keep moving on in life, and what inevitably happens is it resurfaces, like I said before, and it becomes more apparent. It's harder to ignore. Or I can face it. And what this means for me is facing fear, is going into that uncomfortability of being honest with myself and telling myself that what I'm dealing with in my life is my responsibility. It is my responsibility to learn from and to grow from. And I can make the choice to ignore it. But that brings me back to where I was before. And if we are people who are trying to grow in our lives, that isn't sufficient for us anymore. That's not good enough for us anymore. What happens is the desire is to grow. Everything falls by the wayside. The fact that we have to look fear in the face, the fact that we have to be uncomfortable is okay for us because we know what's on the other side. The better part of ourselves. See, what I do is I try to imagine myself a month from now. A month from now, am I going to meet that person? Or is that person going to meet me and be happy that I chose to go through the fear? Are they going to tell me that they're so grateful? Or is that person going to say, you failed to look at the things in your life, you failed to accept and be honest with yourself, those problems that you have, those problems. When I first heard that, I kept imagining myself a month from now. And what happened is the fear, it was still there, but it wasn't controlling my life anymore because I really wanted that person a month from now to be a better version of myself. What happened is I stopped comparing myself to the people around me because it wasn't working. If I did compare myself, it was to who I was yesterday and who I wanted to be tomorrow or who I wanted to be a month from now. And it became so clear that these things that I called problems, these things that brought up what I called negative emotions in me, was just the world telling me my next step. We do have the choice. We have the choice to look away from these things. And I see so many people that are stuck in the same spot in their life that they were 5 years ago or last year. They're stuck in that same spot and they're dealing with the same things, the same relationship problems, the same unhappiness at their job. They ask me, what am I supposed to do next? How do I grow? How do I get out of this? And I tell them the world has been telling you all along. Once we open our eyes and be honest with ourselves, become humble in saying that it's okay. This perfection that we're going after, it's not reality. The reality is that these spots in our lives that are weak or cracking are the spots where we grow, are the most beautiful things about us. There's nothing negative about looking at the thing in our life that's being asked of us. So for this week, I ask that you be honest with yourself. That's the first step, is looking at those things in our lives that are our responsibility to learn from. This skill is amazing, and after having talked about it, you now know how to look at your life and identify what the next step is for you. Thank you guys very much for watching this video, and we'll see you next time.